Hi, welcome to the Sifu Mimi Chan Show. Thanks for joining the conversation. Hello, hello. Hi,
Hello.
Hoon.
How are you?
I'm good. I was just talking to Langley. I'm like, thank you, Langley, for inviting me because Hoon didn't. He goes, all right, Hoon knew I
No,
invited
no.
you, but give him hell
Yes,
anyway.
that's why. That's why. We have a thread. It was covered.
Right. Okay. I told the last group, I'm like, I feel like I'm speed dating the Warrior cast this
It's
hour. It's been
basically,
like
yeah,
go, go, go.
yeah,
But what's been nice is I've had a friendly in every room, like someone I know. So this has been great. But
good.
just, so excited about talking to all of you. And I've been saying, Warrior is literally the most appropriate name for the show because you guys keep swinging and fighting and you just not go down.
Yeah.
And
Zombie could be a name for our show
yeah,
too.
well, you being one of the writers on the show, you can, pitch that as
Uh,
like the little subtitle that
yeah,
comes up. But
we should definitely rename the show. Yeah.
one of the things I really love, especially about all of the characters in this room in particular, including the absent Kieran, is that they are so multidimensional and no one is inherently good and no one is inherently bad. And everybody,
Right.
I feel like the actions they take are with good, quote unquote, intentions, right? But in the
Mhm.
same way, there's clearly morality lines that are crossed and there's clearly choices that are made that even as your character you're like, okay, this is probably not the quote unquote right thing or a good thing to do. Like, how do you approach that in your character, I guess, development, but also like how do you see your character in that regard in terms of like the decisions they make and the choices they have to like make within themselves and what actually ends up happening in in the actual events.
Tom?
Bring it right back to me. Great question. Yeah, I think one of the things that I really found was sort of easy for me in the pilot is that Lee is new. He's learning all of this. He's much like Assam, really. There's a lot he has to catch up on. So there's a lot of discovery. And Lee, from the very beginning, he wears his moral compass on his sleeve and is thrown into a world where he just has to completely recalibrate, running from something that was so shocking that really rocked that moral compass as well. So buried that secret deep down. So I think one of the things that's great about the show is that each character has multiple relationships, and they will probably show that moral compass in various different ways to certain characters. And Chow is the one person who Lee was reticent to do that with from day dot. And Lee's hand was forced in season 3. So yeah, in terms of like safeguarding it, the moral compass that is, every character is forced to really, for it to change essentially in various different ways. So that's a great joy to play that really.
Mm.
I think
Hoon.
between Lee and Chow and Bill, we have an actually sort of an interesting gradient where on one side you have Lee coming from an environment where he has done the right thing, but the unlawful thing. And he comes to a place where now he is the law. He's supposed to uphold the lawful thing and has questions about what is the right thing. Then you have Bill, who is very deep in that process and who literally sees Lee as someone sort of almost like himself from his history, right? Like the prior version of himself, how he may have used to have been, but is actively struggling with that line. And then you have someone like Chow, who has very clear ideas. He literally says to Officer Lee, there is no law here, that there is only the pursuit of the deal or the pursuit of your freedom in particular for Chow. So you have this sort of interesting, almost like a past, present, future, or before, beginning, middle, end, or however you want to conceptualize it, gradient of the relationship between morality and law in these three characters, which is why I think it's such an interesting trio. And it's one of my favorite interactions on the show is figuring out the navigation between these different things, where Chow is an ally to Bill, and he and Bill sort of are against Lee in certain ways because of their alignment. And then Lee and Bill are sort of aligned in a certain way and against Chow. And then finally in the third season, we have the last permutation of Lee and Chow sort of being aligned in some way as needs dictate. But I love that, and I think that sort of relationship and the complexity of that matrix manifests in between many relationships in the show, and that's really fun for us to play, and I hope fun for people to see.
Yeah, and you guys got to have like a little holiday together in that last round.
Yeah, yeah,
I love
in a
that.
boxcar.
It really was a holiday. It really
I was like, it was kind of fun because you never really get to see Chow like at length with someone for that long, right? And so I was like, oh, we have a little holiday where you guys go off and through a holiday of horror, but it was kind of fun to kind of see a more at length kind of interaction there. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, when that got pitched, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go please.
I was going to say, when that got pitched in the writers' room, it was really exciting for me because
Yes, you're
Tom
like,
and I are we're great friends, so that I knew those were going to be great shoot days. Aside from his phenomenal lack of talent, which is always a problem. But he's obviously
you've
very.
been carrying me for years.
My back's killing me.
Yeah.
Just from his Tom's such a skilled and tasteful actor. I knew those scenes were going to work well, but also I knew they'd be great work days. But then also because this is a character that has a lot of friction with Chow, where he kind of sees him as fundamentally not useful in many ways. There's a freedom potentially there for Chow to speak with less constraint and less duplicity, particularly given the situation itself, the context, and the fact that they might not make it out of there. So these two people who sit at sort of the opposite ends of that spectrum we were just talking about, it gives us all this room to cover. And so I was excited by that prospect. And it was a really fun experience and work day and
yeah,
series
absolutely.
for me, at least.
It looked like fun. Not really.
Tom was like, I hated it.
Every second of it. Yeah, you would never think that opium withdrawals could actually be a hoot, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. I know they're going to start giving me the minute warnings and stuff soon. So hopefully,
yeah.
I mean, I know Kieran and Hoon, I can reach out, but Tom, hopefully you'll come back and have a more extensive conversation with me. Maybe we'll invite Kieran and we can do this whole group thing again.
Well, if you have questions for Kieran, we'll answer for him.
I believe you.
That'll be fun for us.
But Hoon already knows this, but it's like in terms of Asian American history, I find this show to be one of the rare points where we can be entertained while learning something, and it's such a rarity in this day and age, and it's something that I advocate for, but also it's a great way to get adults to kind of be aware of what's happening. And I was just curious what you would say to why you think these stories are so important to tell.
It's a really great point. They're hugely important because, well, I suppose beyond just the moral correctness of it, it's framed in such a way that you can really get to grips with a bad ideology that people sort of associate themselves with, because you get to know not only these people who are in a morally ambiguous world in the Tongs, but you get to know these people on the other side of it who judge them. And that's the thing the show does very well, is it humanizes everybody. So you're able to sort of separate these big ideas and see people for what they really are. And I think that's really vital, really, when you're tackling something as, long standing as racism in that form.
Yeah.
Jonathan's mantra has always been no good guys. There are no good guys.
Yeah.
There are no bad guys. And one of the things that speaks to is we all sort of, I think, intuitively recognize the danger of seeing somebody as the enemy, right? One thing I think we sometimes miss is seeing ourselves as the good guy. And that's as dangerous a prospect, because then it puts you on this sort of imaginary moral high ground where you can start judging people, acting against them, seeing them as less than human, seeing them as less important. And I think that having a show where there are no good guys is just as important as having a show where there are no bad guys.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I'm going to do a little thing where put the call to action together with everybody. So if you want to tell people watch Netflix, do the 2 thumbs up, whatever you want to say, so I can just blast this out on social and send it to as many people as possible because we need that season 4.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
For the cost of a cup of coffee, you can put a hungry actor to work. No, I'm just kidding. Tell your friends, anybody you think that might like the show, to check us out on Netflix. Binge the show, watch it to completion, give us 2 thumbs up, and
2 of these.
You'll get Tom giving you 2 thumbs up.
That's my face at the end of the show on every
That ends every credit sequence.
Yeah.
We lose a lot of viewers that way.
Yeah. Terrible idea.
Tom, do you want to do your own one, like your own call to action?
Please watch the show. Watch it to the very end, and binge away, please. We love it, and we feel like we're in the right place, and we hope you do too. So yeah, 2 thumbs up, please.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, I'm surprised I didn't get the little 1 minute left thing, but I'm pretty sure
they're
it's
scrambling
coming
a little
soon.
bit.
Yes, that's
The
good.
last
That's
group,
good.
the last person didn't either.
Okay,
so
well,
someone's scrambling.
I figure you guys have more to do, so I don't also want to capitalize since I can
I've been told
bother you later, Hoon. And
no, we're overdue, Mimi. I'm so sorry.
I'm going to give Karen a hard time for sure for standing me up. And Tom, I hope you'll consider having a at-length podcast at some point. But
absolutely,
you guys are awesome, and actually, this worked out even better because there was so many laughs without Karen, and you guys got to banter. So this is pretty funny.
He is a dirge of a man, so he would have dragged the whole thing down.
Well, thank you, Mimi. It's good to see you.
I will let you all go. Good to see you. Thank you so much, and we'll push for this, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chat soon. Bye.
That's all for today's episode. Thanks for listening to the Sifu Mimi Chan Show. Please subscribe and rate my podcast on your platform of choice and leave a review. You can become a patron of the show at patreon.com/SifuMimiChan to help keep this podcast going. Follow me and interact on social media at Sifu Mimi Chan on Instagram or Facebook.